It's 1984, the height of the Cold War, and somewhere beneath the icy waters of the North Atlantic, a Soviet submarine with revolutionary silent propulsion could shift the entire balance of world power. But beyond the heart-pounding tension of the hunt for Red October lies something even more fascinating, a treasure trove of hidden truths that blur the line between Hollywood fiction and Cold War reality. From real naval mutinies that inspired the story to behind-the-scenes secrets the Soviets desperately wanted buried, we're about to dive deep into revelations that will surprise even the most devoted fans of this submarine thriller masterpiece. Number 1. Mutiny that sparked the story. 9 years before Tom Clancy's novel hit the shelves, a real Soviet naval officer made a decision that would echo through Cold War history and eventually inspire one of cinema's greatest submarine thrillers. In November 1975, Captain Third Rank Valery Sablin led a mutiny aboard the Soviet frigate Storozhevoy in the Baltic Sea, attempting to sail his ship to Leningrad to broadcast a message calling for true socialist reform. The parallels to Captain Marco Ramius are chilling. Like Ramius, Sablin was a respected officer who turned against his own navy out of moral conviction. Both men commanded their crews through ideology rather than fear, and both sought to use their vessels as instruments of political change. Soviet forces eventually stopped Sablin's ship, and he was later executed for treason. But his story of principled defiance lived on, providing Clancy with the perfect foundation for a tale where one man's conscience could alter the fate of nations. Number 2. Clancy's research raised suspicions. Long before the internet made information freely available, one insurance broker from Maryland managed to piece together naval secrets so accurately that it made Pentagon officials nervous. Tom Clancy's research methods were surprisingly simple, yet incredibly effective. He pored over Jane's fighting ships, technical journals, and unclassified military manuals available in public libraries. The result was so realistic that when The Hunt for Red October was published, defense officials wondered if Clancy had access to classified information. His descriptions of submarine sonar capabilities, torpedo rooms, and nuclear reactor operations were startlingly accurate for someone who had never served on a submarine. Clancy's genius wasn't in obtaining secret information, it was in connecting publicly available dots that no one had bothered to assemble before. His meticulous approach to technical detail became the gold standard for military fiction. Number 3. Connery's submarine immersion. Transforming from James Bond to a Soviet submarine captain required more than just adopting a Russian accent. It demanded understanding the claustrophobic world beneath the waves. Sean Connery spent considerable time aboard the USS Puffer, a real nuclear submarine, to prepare for his role as Marco Ramius. The experience taught Connery that submarine captains don't rule through bombast, but through quiet, absolute authority. Every gesture matters in the confined space of a submarine, where 150 men depend on their captain's decisions for survival. This immersion shows in Connery's performance. His Ramius speaks softly but commands instant attention, moves with deliberate economy, and carries himself with the weight of someone who holds lives in his hands. The authenticity stems directly from those hours spent learning how real submarine commanders operate. Number 4. Navy's secret Hollywood deal. Behind the scenes of this Cold War thriller lay an unprecedented partnership between Hollywood and the United States Navy that would reshape military recruiting for decades. The Navy provided filmmakers with extraordinary access to nuclear submarines, naval bases, and classified areas that had never been seen by civilian cameras. This wasn't just Hollywood magic, it was calculated military strategy. After witnessing Top Gun's massive impact on Air Force recruitment, Navy officials hoped The Hunt for Red October would similarly boost submarine service enlistment. USS Chicago, USS Houston, and USS Portsmouth all served as filming locations. The deal worked brilliantly for both sides. Filmmakers gained authentic military hardware and expertise that no amount of money could have purchased otherwise. The Navy received a recruitment tool that portrayed submarine service as elite, technical, and heroic, rather than claustrophobic and dangerous. Number 5. The Silent Caterpillar Drive. At the heart of The Hunt for Red October's plot lies a propulsion system so scientifically plausible that it captured imaginations worldwide and sparked real research into silent submarine technology. The Caterpillar Drive operates on magnetohydrodynamic principles, using magnetic fields to move seawater without mechanical propellers. While fictional, this concept is rooted in legitimate physics that scientists had already begun exploring. Real magnetohydrodynamic propulsion systems exist, though they are currently impractical for submarines due to enormous power requirements and limited efficiency. The drive's silent operation made Red October nearly undetectable, creating the perfect MacGuffin for a Cold War thriller. This blend of real science and speculative engineering became a hallmark of techno-thrillers, inspiring readers to wonder what other impossible technologies might already exist in classified military programs. Number 6. Connery's hidden wig. Behind one of cinema's most commanding submarine captains lay a carefully guarded secret that production designers worked tirelessly to conceal from audiences. Sean Connery's natural appearance during filming was deemed unsuitable for the authoritative Soviet commander the role demanded. The solution was a specially crafted hairpiece designed to give Connery the distinguished look befitting a submarine captain. The wig was so expertly fitted and styled that it became integral to his commanding on-screen presence, adding gravitas to every scene he dominated. This subtle transformation helped Connery embody Ramius completely. The carefully crafted appearance, combined with his measured performance, created the image of a seasoned naval officer who had earned respect through decades of service beneath the waves. Number 7. Real subs beneath the fiction. What audiences witnessed on screen wasn't just Hollywood magic. It was authentic naval hardware repurposed for cinematic storytelling. Los Angeles-class submarines served as stand-ins for American vessels throughout the film, providing genuine military authenticity that no studio mock-up could match. Real submariners didn't just lend their boats, they became part of the cast. Active-duty crew members served as extras, bringing natural movement and behavior to scenes that would have looked artificial, with civilian actors trying to mimic naval procedures. This authentic casting created an unprecedented level of realism. When viewers see sailors operating sonar equipment or moving through submarine corridors, they're watching actual naval personnel doing what they've trained for years to perfect, lending the film credibility that resonates in every frame. Number 8. Building the giant Red October. Creating the massive Soviet submarine required engineering ingenuity that rivaled actual naval construction projects. Filmmakers constructed an enormous exterior mock-up of the Typhoon-class submarine using barges as the foundation, creating a practical effect that dwarfed anything digital technology could achieve in 1990. The full-scale replica measured over 500 feet in length, making it one of the largest movie props ever built at the time. This practical construction allowed cameras to capture the true scale and imposing presence of the world's largest nuclear submarine. The massive build paid dividends in every exterior shot. Actors could interact with genuine submarine surfaces. Water effects looked authentic against real metal, and the sheer size created an intimidating presence that perfectly captured the Red October's role as an unstoppable underwater fortress. Number 9. Sets that made actors sick. Achieving submarine realism came at a physical cost that pushed even experienced actors to their limits. The submarine interiors were constructed on hydraulic gimbals, designed to simulate the rolling motion of a vessel navigating underwater currents and evasive maneuvers. These cramped, constantly moving sets created authentic submarine conditions, including the unfortunate side effect of seasickness. Even Sean Connery, despite his naval background, occasionally felt queasy from the combination of tight spaces, artificial motion, and overheated conditions required for filming. The discomfort was intentional and effective. The genuine physical stress experienced by actors translated into performances that captured the claustrophobic tension of submarine warfare, where men operate in confined spaces under extreme pressure for months at a time. Number 10. Book versus movie changes. Adapting Tom Clancy's dense novel for the screen required surgical precision to maintain the story's complexity while creating accessible cinema. The filmmakers streamlined multiple subplot threads, eliminated several secondary characters, and simplified technical passages that worked in print but would have bogged down the film's pacing. Key changes included condensing the timeline, reducing the number of Soviet submarines involved in the hunt, and focusing more tightly on the relationship between Ramius and Jack Ryan. Several intricate political machinations from the novel were simplified to maintain clarity for audiences unfamiliar with Cold War naval strategy. These adaptations proved essential for the film's success. By distilling Clancy's sprawling narrative into its most compelling elements, the screenplay created a taut thriller that honored the source material while functioning as effective visual storytelling that could captivate viewers for 2 hours. Number 11. Words with Deeper Shadows. Beyond the submarine battles and Cold War tension lies dialogue that carries unexpected philosophical weight, elevating the film from military thriller to meditation on conscience and duty. When Ramius quotes his late wife's diary, his words echo the moral struggles of figures like J. Robert Oppenheimer, wrestling with the consequences of creating weapons of mass destruction. These moments of introspection transform characters from stereotypical Cold War figures into complex human beings. Ramius isn't simply defecting for political reasons, he's grappling with his role in potentially ending civilization, much like the scientists who created nuclear weapons. The screenplay's deeper shadows reveal themselves in quiet moments between action sequences. Characters discuss duty, loyalty, and the weight of decisions that could trigger global conflict, adding layers of meaning that resonate long after the credits roll. Number 12. A Cold War film out of time. The film faced a unique challenge, telling a story set in 1984 while releasing into a world where the Berlin Wall was crumbling and the Soviet Union was dissolving. This temporal disconnect required careful handling to maintain the story's relevance and tension. The opening crawl became crucial, firmly anchoring the narrative in its historical moment when nuclear tensions peaked and submarine warfare represented the ultimate strategic threat. This framing device reminded audiences of a time when such scenarios felt frighteningly plausible. Despite the timing challenges, the film's themes of individual conscience versus state loyalty transcended its Cold War setting. The story worked because it focused on universal human conflicts rather than temporary political tensions, ensuring its relevance even as the world it depicted was rapidly changing. Number 13. The real USS Dallas connection. The connection between fiction and reality became beautifully circular when the real USS Dallas crew embraced their cinematic counterpart. After the film's release, the actual submarine's crew adopted "The Hunt is On" as their official motto, creating a unique bond between Hollywood storytelling and naval tradition. This adoption wasn't just ceremonial, it reflected genuine pride in how the film portrayed submarine service. The crew felt the movie captured the professionalism, skill, and dedication required for underwater operations, making them willing ambassadors for their fictional representation. The USS Dallas connection demonstrates how authentic military cooperation can create lasting relationships. The submarine's crew became living extensions of the film's legacy, carrying its spirit into real naval operations and helping blur the lines between entertainment and military reality. Number 14. Dangerous Canyon Navigation. The film's most tension-filled sequences draw inspiration from actual Soviet submarine routes through treacherous underwater terrain. The canyon scenes were based on real passages like Red Route 1, where Soviet submarines navigated narrow underwater valleys to avoid detection by Western sonar networks. These routes represented genuine strategic choke points during the Cold War, where geography became a crucial factor in submarine warfare. Soviet captains regularly risked their vessels and crews navigating these passages, knowing that one miscalculation could mean collision with canyon walls or detection by enemy sensors. The authentic geographical foundation made these scenes particularly gripping for military audiences who understood the real dangers involved. Every maneuver depicted on screen had been attempted by actual submarine crews, adding weight to fictional sequences through their basis in operational reality. Number 15. Milius uncredited speeches. Behind some of the film's most memorable dialogue stood an uncredited master of military cinema, whose distinctive voice shaped how Soviet characters spoke with dignity and menace. John Milius, though not officially credited as a writer, rewrote key speeches to give them the weight and authority they needed. Milius brought his signature style, a blend of honor, duty, and warrior philosophy, to characters who could have easily become cartoon villains. His touch ensured that Ramius and other Soviets spoke as professional military officers rather than Cold War caricatures. This uncredited contribution elevated the entire film. Milius understood that compelling military drama requires respect for all combatants, regardless of their nationality, creating dialogue that honored the complexity of men caught between personal conscience and national loyalty. Number 16. Why Russian turns to English. One of cinema's most elegant solutions to the subtitle problem occurs mid-scene when the camera slowly pushes in on a Soviet officer speaking Russian, then pulls back to reveal the same actor now speaking accented English. This seamless transition avoided alienating audiences while maintaining cultural authenticity. The technique allowed viewers to experience the foreignness of the Soviet submarine initially, then settle into understanding the characters as complex individuals rather than foreign adversaries. The accented English maintained the character's Russian identity while ensuring accessibility. This innovative approach influenced countless subsequent films dealing with foreign characters. Rather than forcing audiences to read subtitles throughout or having Russians speak perfect American English, the film found a middle path that served both authenticity and commercial accessibility. Number 17. The teddy bear detail. Amidst all the nuclear submarines and Cold War espionage, one small detail grounds the entire thriller in human emotion. Jack Ryan's daughter's teddy bear that appears briefly but memorably in their family scenes. This quiet touch serves as a powerful reminder of what's truly at stake beyond geopolitical maneuvering. The teddy bear represents innocence in a world of sophisticated weapons and international intrigue. While Ryan navigates submarine warfare and nuclear threats, the simple toy reminds audiences that real families depend on preventing these fictional scenarios from becoming reality. Such humanizing details elevate the hunt for Red October above typical military thrillers. These small moments of domestic life provide emotional anchors that make the high-stakes submarine battles feel personal rather than abstract, connecting global conflict to individual consequences. Number 18. Oscars and big box office. The film's commercial and critical success exceeded all expectations, grossing over $200 million worldwide and earning 3 Academy Award nominations, ultimately winning the Oscar for Best Sound Effects Editing. This recognition validated the filmmaker's commitment to authentic military detail and technical excellence. The box office triumph launched the Jack Ryan film franchise, proving that audiences craved intelligent military thrillers based on best-selling novels. The success demonstrated that sophisticated espionage stories could compete with action blockbusters when crafted with proper attention to character and authenticity. Beyond immediate success, the film established a template for adapting complex military fiction to cinema. Its blend of technical accuracy, strong performances, and accessible storytelling became the gold standard for subsequent Tom Clancy adaptations and military thrillers throughout the 1990s. Number 19. Soldiers turned actors. The film's authenticity stemmed partly from casting actors with genuine military experience, who brought real understanding to their roles. Sean Connery served in the Royal Navy, Scott Glenn was a Marine, and James Earl Jones served in the Army, creating a cast that understood military bearing and protocol. This military background showed in subtle ways throughout their performances. Their natural comfort with military terminology, proper saluting techniques, and command presence couldn't be taught in acting classes. It came from years of actual service experience. The casting decisions reflected the filmmaker's commitment to authenticity over pure star power. By choosing actors who could naturally embody military characters, the film achieved a level of credibility that elevated every scene involving naval operations or military decision-making. Number 20. Mistakes the Navy noticed. Despite extensive military consultation, sharp-eyed naval personnel spotted several technical errors that slipped past the filmmakers. Ships were shown that hadn't been commissioned during the film's 1984 setting, and various continuity problems appeared in naval procedures and equipment details. Some mistakes were minor but noticeable to military audiences. Incorrect insignia, anachronistic technology, and procedural errors that real submariners immediately recognized. These goofs became talking points among naval personnel, who otherwise praised the film's overall accuracy. The errors highlight the challenge of creating authentic military fiction. Even with unprecedented access to real submarines and naval expertise, the complexities of military operations and the constraints of filmmaking inevitably led to compromises that military audiences noticed, but general viewers overlooked. Number 21. Polderus lost music. The haunting musical score that elevated every submarine sequence came from composer Basil Polidouris, whose powerful orchestral work was later expanded in special editions that revealed previously unheard musical gems. The original theatrical release omitted several compelling pieces, including a stirring anthem for the Soviet crew that fans only discovered years later. Poldoris crafted music that honored both American and Soviet characters with equal dignity, avoiding the typical evil empire musical cliches common in Cold War films. His score treated the submarine warfare as a deadly serious chess match between professional opponents rather than a simple good versus evil conflict. The expanded score releases revealed the full scope of Poldoris's vision, including extended versions of key themes and completely unused cues that added depth to character moments. These discoveries gave fans new appreciation for how music shaped the film's emotional landscape and military authenticity. Number 22. Morality over propaganda. Rather than painting Soviets as mustache-twirling villains, the film took the bold approach of portraying them as professional military officers with their own code of honor and duty. Ramius and his crew weren't defecting because they were evil. They were making moral choices based on conscience and principle. This nuanced characterization extended to the antagonist, Captain Tupolev, who pursues Ramius not from malice, but from genuine belief in his duty to the Soviet Navy. The film treats all submariners, American and Soviet, as skilled professionals caught in larger political conflicts beyond their control. By emphasizing personal morality over political propaganda, The Hunt for Red October created a more compelling and lasting story. The focus on individual conscience versus institutional loyalty resonated with audiences regardless of their political beliefs, making the film timeless rather than dated. Number 23. Band Behind the Iron Curtain. Soviet authorities ensured that The Hunt for Red October never reached theaters behind the Iron Curtain, viewing its themes of military defection and moral questioning as dangerously subversive. Officials feared the film could inspire actual defections or encourage disillusionment with Soviet military service. The ban reflected genuine concern about the film's portrayal of Soviet officers as thinking individuals capable of moral rebellion rather than unquestioning servants of the state. Ramius's philosophical defection represented exactly the kind of independent thinking that authoritarian systems sought to prevent. This prohibition inadvertently validated the film's power and authenticity. The fact that Soviet leadership took the fictional story seriously enough to ban it demonstrated how effectively the film captured real tensions within military organizations where individual conscience conflicts with institutional demands. Number 24. Birth of the Technothriller movies. The film's success launched an entire genre of technically detailed military entertainment that dominated the 1990s. Publishers rushed to find the next Tom Clancy, while Hollywood greenlit numerous projects featuring high-tech warfare, military hardware, and technically accurate action sequences. Video games embraced the techno-thriller format, with early military simulations and strategy games drawing direct inspiration from the film's blend of authentic technology and compelling storytelling. The influence extended beyond entertainment into actual military training programs that adopted similar approaches. This genre explosion demonstrated audiences' appetite for intelligent military fiction that respected both their intelligence and the complexity of modern warfare. The success proved that entertainment could be both thrilling and educational, setting standards for technical accuracy that continue influencing military media today. Number 25. Legacy still echoes today. More than 3 decades later, The Hunt for Red October remains the gold standard for submarine warfare cinema, influencing everything from sound design techniques to military consulting practices in Hollywood. Its blend of authenticity and suspense continues resonating with new generations discovering the film. The Jack Ryan character launched a successful film franchise that continues today, while the film's approach to military cooperation became the template for subsequent Hollywood-Pentagon partnerships. Its influence on military recruitment and public perception of submarine service lasted well beyond its theatrical run. Modern military thrillers still measure themselves against the standards set by this Cold War masterpiece. Its combination of technical accuracy, compelling characters, and intelligent storytelling proved that audiences crave sophisticated military entertainment that honored both the complexity of modern warfare and the human stories within it. The Hunt for Red October stands as a masterpiece that perfectly balanced Cold War authenticity with Hollywood storytelling, creating a submarine thriller that remains gripping today. From the real mutiny that inspired Clancy's vision to the authentic naval cooperation, every element worked together to craft something truly special. The film's legacy extends far beyond entertainment. It changed how Hollywood approaches military stories and demonstrated that audiences hunger for intelligent storytelling. If you enjoyed diving deep into these hidden secrets, hit that like button and subscribe for more behind-the-scenes revelations. Which of these surprised you the most? Tell us in the comments.